And so we return, ladies and gentlemen. It's a new era, a new day, a new 6.82, and I think it's going to be a fantastic one. Although for now, the picks are looking rather 6.81-esque. I'm LDFB on the summit, and together with Blaze, we'll be bringing you Invictus Gaming versus Vici Gaming. This is your second semifinal, a best-of-3 showdown between two titans of Chinese Dota. The winner of this match moves on to face the old boys. They beat Rave earlier. They did it in the midst of a patch change as well. They almost lost the second or the final game, but some very quick spry reflexes on an old bunch was enough to pop triple BKBs, dodge a double Ravage, and take the match from there. Anyway, with that all said, hey Blaze, how you doing? These are very 6.81-esque picks so far, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of new potential, but the first phase does seem kind of what you would expect. There's still a lot of merit to the early momentum that a Death Prophet will give you, and there's a lot of strategies built behind it. Like you've seen so much of the defensive play where you just play keep away with the Death Prophet, keep her alive as long as possible, and try to engage with that. So I guess they thought it would be a decent option against the Centaur, but honestly, I feel like if the Centaur Stampede is used appropriately, the Exorcism shouldn't be that impactful. Either use it to engage and close right on top of her, or of course you can just disengage, get away as quickly as possible, and exploit the fact that the ulti is now extremely long in terms of cooldown. So it's a little bit old, but I'm sure we'll see some new picks here. The Visage and Wisp were respect banned out by Invictus Gaming, just knowing VG Gaming loved to run the Drow Visage or the IO Tiny drafts, and taking those two out it definitely shows some respect, and also just knowing that they're not going to let them VG Gaming play their own game.
All right, now I'm wondering if IG go a different route here. Do they take more of a 6.82 approach? We saw the Lich Spectre dual lanes from Rave multiple times. Generally worked out pretty well. Obviously, Frost Armor also great to slow down the onslaught from the Death Prophet with the physical damage of the ghosts, and whether it's to towers or to heroes, it will assist them in those efforts. Just with the plus armor, not with the slow, the attack speed slow. But yeah, I'm finding this Lich favoritism interesting, Blaze. Anything in particular that you attribute the rise in Lich to? Because he was not that popular in the previous patch.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the Ice Armor did get a small little buff there, but in general, I think it's the how difficult it already is to bring down towers. You have the Ice Armor on top of that, and they're going to stay up for a very long time. On top of that, I mean, getting raw durability on heroes in general is going to be of the utmost importance. The changes to the gold gains when you actually bring down a hero make it so that it's much more important to survive through a fight rather than to get kills. The bottom line is preventing death is the name of the game while still taking good team fights. So getting the Lich to kind of get that passive defensive armor up will help them a lot. There are a lot of other heroes that can accomplish this as well. Abaddon and Omni Knight, I think, are really powerful in this meta as well. But Lich is the one that can make lanes pretty easy. We've seen dual lanes, we've seen control, and yeah, he obviously brings a lot of punch to the table as well with that Chain Frost. So yeah,
I think smart here from Vici though. They will ban the Spectre. It just even with the I don't actually know if these teams realize that the patch has changed at all. I'm not sure if they heard about the small patch. I'm guessing those PCs were updated by the previous team, so I assume they probably do. But we saw last game Spectre's still very powerful, and especially when he's got the Lich at his side. So I think you make a good point though about Lich. He's more effective when the laning stage doesn't break down so quickly, and when you can't take all these tier 1s as fast. And well, it seems like that is ultimately games tend to be going longer. That's been at least my anecdotal experience in pubs, and especially watching competitive play. Like we've seen a lot of 40 to 70-minute games over the past few days. I don't know that I've seen a game end before the 30-minute mark, which was very frequent at 6.81.
Yep. Also, he can roam well enough to with his base movement speed to control runes a little bit. So a little bit of bounty rune on top of his sacrifice, and he's going to get his level 6 really early on. So he'll be able to contribute to the earlier team fights a little bit better. And when they get a good hard engaged, a 2-man stomp even, that Chain Frost can do so much damage. So the control they have is pretty good. It's great against Exorcism. I think is the biggest thing here is just getting the Ice Armor up on any hero, any tower to prevent the spirits from doing their maximum potential damage. And yeah, trying to figure out how it falls from there. But we see the Void and Tide taken out by IG. They just don't really want to give up the team fight. Right now, they have it in their hands for the most part in terms of control, and they don't want that going to the enemy team.
They will experiment, Blaze. They'll go for Terrorblade, which on paper does feel like a fantastic hero for Black. This is the type of hero that he became known for, the anti-mage. Terrorblade, we don't really see him much as a combat-oriented carry, although he does dish out a lot of damage. He seems to excel at sieging and pushing more than anything, and, well, Black will probably be handling this one. They do have Ice Ice Ice, who's a fantastic micro player, certainly could use the illusions to their full potential, but generally we've seen him more in the offlane role. So I guess we'll reserve judgment on who's playing what, but it does look like a super Death Prophet, Skywrath either for FY or Fenrir, and then probably a Terrorblade for Black. And I guess the question for IG is, do they try to contest this Terrorblade somehow? It's kind of tough now that they've shown a Lich.
Yeah, very difficult to do so. You can't really go as aggro as you'd like to in that situation. I think the key thing for Vici right now is their offlaner pickup. If they go for an Elder Titan, which Ice 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 runs really well, they have some great team fight for themselves, but snatched up from IG, they're the ones to claim it, and obviously a very powerful hero in his own right as far as amplifying damage and just making it so that if you engage, you're walking into a bit of a death trap against that ultimate. So great control from this hero, and can be, if you get an Earth Splitter followed up by a Chain Frost, like the team fight's practically won for you. And this brings it to a point where I'm almost afraid the Terrorblade will be nuked down too hard. The other pickup they might go for, it's far-fetched because we don't see it as often, but like an offlane Omni Knight with the repel might be enough to keep Terrorblade alive, but otherwise magic nukes all over the place. TB can be dropped down very, very quickly.
Yeah, Omni's definitely an option. And aside from that, I suppose they could build like an early Assault Curse and the Death Prophet. But, you know, the issue is like these supports aren't going to get a lot of farm. Skywrath and Earthshaker. And if they do, it's a blink on Earthshaker. They can't really afford to rush something like a Vlad's. And I do like this pick a lot from IG. Not only the Elder Titan, but they get the Lion now. You can Mana Drain the illusions to instantly dispel them after, like, I think it's a quarter of a second or a half second. Terrorblade, obviously, also susceptible to the Hex on the illusions to instantly kill them. And, I mean, the ultimate counter that I've seen to illusion-based carries back when Naga was all the rage was, there was a game where I think it was a Titan that ran a Core Pugna with Ags, and you just keep on life draining them, and they all just pop. So that's the ultimate solution if they want to go that route. But I'm thinking we'll see something that's more of a hard carry for 430 in the mid lane. His vaunted Ember Spirit's still out there, but Vici Gaming have actually banned the TA. And one more thing, Blaze. Ice 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 was streaming a lot of offlane Terrorblade, like a lot of games after this hero was reworked. It was a while ago. So, I mean, it is possible he plays it. It is even possible maybe they try to run it as an offlaner. Although, I mean, that was mostly pubs. I'm not sure they'll be able to get away with it this game, but yeah, we'll just have to see how Vici Gaming want to play this one.
Yeah, it almost seems like a better option there because right now, if he is given the highest farm priority, he's just going to be nuked down left and right until he gets the BKB, and even then we've seen the weaknesses of those 5 seconds. But it looks like they are going to be opting for what looks like a core Enigma.
So I guess it's going to be his offlane Enigma, and it will be Black on the Terrorblade then. Yeah.
And Black's got to play this extremely carefully then. The TB can be nuked down so hard by magical damage. He's really good against physical, but magic damage is his weak point. And IG are just stacking it. The Finger of Death on top of what we've already talked about. Yeah, Black is going to have to be very cautious. Build up a lot of strength, maybe even like a first item BKB, and just be careful how he uses it because this hero can drop extremely quickly.
Final pick will now come out for IG. What is 430 going to be handling? Ember is not terrible to kill illusions in general, but Terrorblade does tend to stack up that armor, so from agility, so he'll really need the Elder Titan there, and they'll go a different route. They're going to go for the incredibly nerfed Tinker. I wonder if IG have some different style of Tinker in mind from the Dagon E-Blade build, because that has just been smacked around by Ice Frog. Also, I guess this is where we should just list out all the big Tinker changes. So, March of the Machines no longer affects spell immune units, so BKBs are really good against him again, at least while they're higher duration. BKB is great against him. He can't farm the Ancients as a result. He cannot farm Golems anymore, although that's less of an issue in the jungle. And aside from that, there's also been changes to Dagon. The intelligence bonus per level is better, but for Tinker, that's not really a good thing. It's 180 mana cost at all levels, so it hurts his mana pool a bit. And the last change is that Ethereal Blade is not instant anymore, and it also does not make the caster ethereal. So for here, like Morphling, maybe not the biggest deal, but for Tinker, it means even when he uses that shotgun, he could still be auto-attacked afterwards. And it also has a projectile, so it moves at 1100 speed, which is pretty fast, but not instant. And so, well, I'm almost wondering if Tinker will still be viable, but just not as like the Dagon E-Blade style, and maybe we see more like Scythe the Vice or even Shiva's style Tinker. Well, I guess
Yeah.
we'll wait and see what 430 does.
Yeah, the hex stacking I think is probably a really good route to go here. If they get the control, they certainly have the damage from all of their big ultimates. So I think that just spam hex would probably be a really good route. Another kind of pseudo nerf to him, but it's covers a lot of heroes, is the increased gold cost of Blink Dagger. This hero really does not shine until he gets both BOTs and Blink to help him farm up on lanes and such. And yeah, that's going to be just a little bit of extra gold that he has to pick up there. So
Yeah, and also the fact that Urn now disables your Blink Dagger. That's just
yeah.
one more way that Tinker has been indirectly hit. So a lot of direct nerfs, but I think more he's been affected by these indirect ones.
Oh, cheese bug.
Oh, it's a Lich. He's got the 315 base move speed.
I think Concussive plus Malefice, they do bring him down, but you don't want to skill Malefice that early on Enigma. It's pretty much the only skill you can't jungle with. At least with Midnight Pulse, we've seen people go for a little bit of stack play, at least get themselves to level 2. But yeah, in this situation, he's on the offlane. He wants to use the Eidolons to deny his own creeps, pull back the wave, and of course, you also have to consider the fact that the reaction time. He was pretty much out of there as quickly as he saw them.
All right, well, with that, we'll see if IG can make this old dog in the Tinker learn some new tricks here in 6.82. He may have to. Or maybe he goes back to the old tricks. We'll find out. Luo will be our off-lane Elder Titan. For now, it's going to be Chizbug playing the support Lich in the mid lane, helping 430. We'll see if he heads down bottom after this, as Luo will not be able to snag the bounty rune. That goes the way of FY. And, yeah, we've got 430 on that Tinker. In the safe lane, we'll go June as the Centaur. A hero that's been doing a ton of work in the Chinese scene lately. Honestly, I'm surprised Centaur doesn't get banned more. It feels like every game that the team picks him, he does a lot. We'll see if this is another one of those. Tron will be your your support Lion, and then for Vici Gaming, Ice 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 once again on the offlane Enigma. He's been playing it pretty much every game, it feels like, lately. Super will go mid as the Death Prophet with that 135-second cooldown Exorcism instead of the 115. And we've got Fenrir as the safe lane Earthshaker. FY, your support Skyreth, as mentioned earlier, and that leaves Black as the Terrorblade. They go for a Fissure block. Wouldn't have been a complete one anyway, but it doesn't end up blocking him regardless. Gets him on the wrong side of it.
Yeah, difficult for Luo in this position to hold. Like, he's got 4 tangos and boots, and that's okay, but in general, you're going to see a lot of harassment come out from the Skywrath. They're going to have really good lane control, and he has to kind of keep the wave in check with this Spirit. Like, in this position, you're going to see a lot of potential flank to gank roaming. If they get a smoke up early, he is in jeopardy no matter where he positions himself by the tier 1 bottom. And yeah, as far as getting gold, he'll get it occasionally with these Spirits, but getting the XP range is a completely different story.
For now, Chizbug does march over to the middle lane. I'm really feeling like he needs to go help Luo, though. This bottom lane is just a mess for the Elder Titan, and there were some changes made to the Dire off lane. The creeps tend to meet closer to the tower now than what they did in the previous version, but it's still the Dire off lane. You still don't have access to a pole camp, and it's of all heroes, it's an Elder Titan, who frankly needs levels especially badly. Like, just getting 6 isn't even good enough on this hero. You really need level 11. And ideally, you'd love to get 16. Whereas, like, you look at, say, I don't know, a Clockwork, he can do a lot once he gets hookshot. A Tidehunter can offer a ton with Ravage. Same for Centaur Stampede, but Luo's only level 1. Already 2 minutes in. And by the way, Fenrir will pick up an Invis bottom. He's got the Golden Gravel Maw. An Immortal Totem. I'm so jelly. I bought 4 of these things and didn't get a single golden. What can you do? He'll head towards mid.
Yeah, they did see the rune, though. The Dire Observer Ward does have vision of the bottom rune spawn, so they saw Invis. I believe they even saw Earthshaker pick it up. In either case, they should be aware of the potential threat, and they'll play in a reactive position. Cheesebug still kind of toeing the steps, but I don't think they're going to go down into the river and be caught by a couple of Crypt Swarms. We'll see. Anyways, right now, yeah, like you said, the
top lane, Ice 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 has been caught out here. He took a stomp, and he will go down. June getting the first blood. The Eidolons are working on Chuan, but I don't think they'll have enough damage. One more volley. It's close. It's not enough. So first blood will go the way of Invictus Gaming. And of all heroes, it goes to the one that is the most potential to take over the mid game in the Centaur.
Yeah, that's really immense. But we are going to be seeing some ancient stacking coming out from the side of IG. Hopefully they know that Tinker cannot farm those. Like, there actually is no hero that can cleanly take care of those. at this stage in the game. So we'll see if they start like triple quad stacking it, then we'll know that they're completely unaware. But they should definitely
You
have some consideration of 6.82.
the small dragons are not magic immune, right? So those you can kill.
I believe so. Technically, the changelog said ancients are included in this, but the
Okay.
small dragons are affected by normal magic spells.
But even so, it's you could be stacking your big hits. I guess the other thing is they saw Vici went aggressive, so IG know that, well, they can't stack their own wards without buying sentries, and they probably had their suspicions that one of them was this hill ward, which you need flying vision to D-ward, which takes until 3 minutes anyway, and they don't have a hero that gives flying vision outside of the Elder Titan, but he's headed off lane, so maybe because of that, they're like, oh, we'll stack it once, we can farm it later on, and now we can start to stack our jungle. We'll see. We'll see if that's what their plan is. In the mid lane, 430 is currently losing, even with the support of the Lich. Not by a huge amount by any means, but by a little bit in terms of CS.
Yep, so it's really just going to be laning phase Dota for a bit, and obviously Lich can benefit from that a lot, going for the sacrifice frequently. He's going to be up to level 3 in a moment, and just kind of keeping things low tempo for now. When June hits Blink Dagger, that's when really things start moving. They're going to be switching lanes, they're going to be putting out aggression, and it's just pretty much prepping all the other heroes for that time frame. We'll see if Ferrari puts any points in the
F1
missiles.
does get revealed. Chuan's in position for this one. He'll hex him to start, and then he'll just retreat. Oh, is he going to go for an impale? No, he gets nuked. Chuan waited a bit too long, and he's going to end up just dying. Oh, man.
Wow.
That was just bizarre by Chuan.
Yeah, I don't think he gets out of that either way, no matter how long, how well you time the stun. It's just a lot of presence coming in from those specific heroes, but maybe could have pulled it off a little bit better and given him a small chance of escape. In either case, right now it's going to be 23 last hits plus the first blood on the Centaur. He's going to be just picking up that blink and like 1,300 gold. Obviously, the gold increase hurting him a little bit, but you know, in the end, he's still going to be able to build up very quickly. And on the other hand, Terrorblade, we'll have to see what Black builds up, but right now he is by far topping the CS charts at 36.
It's a smoke bottom lane. They really want to go in Black. They throw out the Spirit, but then Tron can't get a rage. Oh, he can. Gets off the Hex. Wow. Didn't think he'd be able to outrun him, but the Tranquil Boots do the work. Too bad they silenced Chizbug. They would have had to chase him for a while. While meanwhile, in top lane, I'm just looking at June. He was chasing Ice Ice Ice. Instead, he'll just start farming these demonic conversions. He tries to micro them, but tries to deny them, but he's also thwarted there. And this is just a very difficult lane against the level 5 Centaur at this point. Even with the denies. Double Edge will kill off the Eidolons. He's not getting to build them up, and they can't even really harass thanks to that return damage, so it's a tough off lane for him. But good news, he does deny and slow down the Centaur's farm a bit. And they have started to stack the normal jungle now, so they did not triple stack the Ancients. I think they probably do know as Ice 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 gets caught out. March will be used. It's a level 3 March, but they need a little bit more damage for this kill. Yeah, they just don't have it with this build.
Yeah, and actually it might be turned on here. Supers go again. They will have the concussive shot hit Cheesebug, though. They kind of switched their targets there as Cheesebug was a little bit too close and took priority for the one spell you can't fully control. And that made it so that Vici Gaming won't find their kill opportunity. They still got the better rune at the 6-minute spawn. Picking up regen over bounty is definitely going to help out Super a lot more in this lane. But still, if IG make another good rotation, they're going to be able to kind of go for that chain stun. They have the Stampede. They have a lot of means of pursuit, and it is going to be very difficult for Super to survive if they do try to focus him.
They had to use Stampede to disengage Luo bottom lane. He was just getting chunked by this Terrorblade, and all it took from Black was a single reflection, just that slow, enough to nearly finish him off. So Stampede on cooldown, that will make the rest of the map a bit safer for Vici. And this is an offlane Elder Titan, who at 7 minutes is level 3. You compare that to Ice 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 in the Enigma, sure, he's not really able to harass June that much, but he's getting his farm. And despite that first blood, he's level 6. It's just so difficult, even now, to run this Elder Titan in the offlane, and I'm very worried for Luo Blaze. I don't know what they can do, though. Like, they don't have a hero outside of Centaur they can put here. But until he gets Blink, if he leaves that top lane, then he's just delaying their aggression in the mid-game.
Yeah, the pullback of the Creequilibrium is nice for Dire, but the terrain changes are still very unfavorable for an offlaner on the Dire side. So in this position, if you're gonna go for a solo offlane, you have to have the pull on lockdown. You have to get that warded and blocked off, because the bottom line is if the supports have the opportunity to just go for the tri-pull, go ahead and keep the wave pulled back, then that is literally a suicide lane where you're just not going to get anything.
Big smoke from Vici. But it gets revealed, actually. Might have just worn off anyway. Either that or it was instantly revealed. But now they find June regardless. 4 heroes onto him. They didn't actually have vision, so the smoke broke, but without actually spotting the heroes. And as a result, they get a much-needed kill on the Centaur. His Blink Dagger was pretty damn close. At 1,600 gold after the death. I think City around 1,800 before it, but that will be delayed now. 430 once again denied a rune. He is level 8 thanks to farming those ancient... Or not ancients, Oh no, he didn't actually farm them. I guess just because he didn't leave the lane. He's got a slight experience lead here, but... Only slight, and his BOTs are not going to be particularly timely. He's only got 900 gold now. This is a long way off the BOTs.
And already fortifying on the top lane. They don't want any damage to come into this tower if they can prevent it, but so that's still going to be chipped down to about half HP. These Eidolons are really doing work, and they can't be farmed up in turn. So some really nice damage coming out from Vici's gank, getting the delay on the blink, getting some real damage into the tower, and the Fortify is on cooldown, so... That should be theirs for the taking after one more pickoff. But speaking of pickoffs, smokes come out from both sides, and there is going to be blood spilling very soon if those are successful. For now, though, it's going to be just Luo farming up down bottom, finally getting some real experience. Level 5.
Oh, super. So, look at this. He scouted out the jungle. He's seen the double stack there. And I wonder if they're going to look to gank it. They are already. FY and Fenrir are headed there. And it's right when 430 wants to farm. But if he farms it from down here... It's a fairly difficult gank. Instead, they're going to fight Chizbug. Well, they'll settle for a free Lich kill. Nothing that Chizbug can do about this. He'll even drop a ward in their face. Almost saying, screw you, man. I'm still doing my job as a support. You can't stop me. But the damage was done.
Yeah, most definitely. And there's not much traction for IG until they start moving around with June. They want to wait for the blink, but that just is another like 60-second frame where they're not really doing much in this early game. Vici Gaming right now are just dominating across the map, and it gives plenty of space for Black down bottom. And that's the name of the game for them, is space creation for Black. Get his at least Treads Drum Aquila up so that he can survive through the initial volley of ultimates, and from there he can start snowballing. So... We'll see where they move from this point forward, but so far they've made some great avenues towards a successful mid game.
I do like Black stopping off not only for the Ring of Aquila, which obviously gives your creep wave the armor aura, so you push a lot better, which is kind of the idea of Terrorblade, but he also gets the Quelly Blade, which does accelerate your farm rate quite a bit. Something we saw a lot from PL when he first was released. It was actually bugged back then, but it still does work on illusions, and a lot of times Terrorblade is a melee form where it's particularly effective, so I like this. I think it's well worth it as far as farm speed goes, and just your split push will be a bit faster. And it's just really nice. There's such cheap items too. Like Aquila, I don't know if he goes full drums here, but I think you can definitely argue for it. Just based on how much damage Terrorblade does for Metamorphosis. If he lives for 2 more auto attacks, that could be enough to like basically kill a Lich or a Lion from full HP.
Yeah, oh, mid lane. The Ice Armor's not going to be enough to keep the tower alive. Super will bring that down with both the DD and the Exorcism. A great combo just to deliver as much physical damage as possible, and they do not want to fight into that. Obviously, the reduced cooldown, they'll be a little bit better off. Oh, the Observer Ward. I think that was pretty clear what they were doing on the side of Vici Gaming in the Dire Jungle, but for whatever time frame it's up, at least they're keeping track of what Tinker's accomplishing and making sure that he doesn't just...
Did they smoke Envision of that? Dire Observer Ward. Yeah, they're spotted out now, and the counter smoke will come. I was getting my teams mixed up for a second. Now they jump in. On to Fenrir they go with the Stomp double edge combination. Fenrir will end up going down. Now FY on the run. Can they chase him down too? No more Stampede, but he walks back towards Chizbug. If he had headed to the north, might have been able to live. And as the nukes come out, June, not even needed. Finger of Death from Tron will secure that one, boys. And to the north, Ice going for the TP. He gets stunned. He doesn't get out. It's going to be a third hero dropping here for Vici Gaming. Big pickoffs. And much needed ones at that. But Enigma did get the tower last hit. So that goes the way of Ice and gets some recovery during that time. And somehow, actually Black has hardly even damaged this tower bottom lane. I feel like he could have done more by now.
Yeah, but it's the power of the Elder Titan in terms of counter push. He's got a Soul Ring Tranquil Boot, so he has unlimited usage of this Astral Spirit, and he can just have cooldown after cooldown, counter push the wave. Black, he would love to just be taking down tower after tower while the fight ensues up on the top lane. But Elder Titan's role here is not just to get experience for better team fight later, it's also to hold Black back, and he's accomplished this very successfully with this early item build.
I'm wondering if he even looks at Radiance, just because he's up to 2,700 cold. He could have bought his drums, could have bought Yasha, so I'm starting to think Black wants to play more of a farm-oriented and just kind of ratty style build. It will be nice against Centaur to cancel his Blink Dagger, and I suppose, as well as Tinker, potentially. If 430 still goes that, which I imagine we'll still see. It's only 100 gold more, and still a very powerful item on him, but I'm just kind of holding my breath here, Blaze, to see if 430 goes for that standard Dagon build, or if he does something different. The smoke will be revealed, but I don't even think they saw Vici because it's nighttime. Yeah, they were just short of the vision. They got nothing from that. Both teams just passing in the night. Daytime, that would have been a bloodbath, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But ships in the night just makes it so they're not going to be seeing anything. They lose the smoke, so they don't feel confident in that situation. And, yeah, that just buys time for Vici Gaming to build up their forces. I mean, they're going to get Death Prophet towards level 11 very shortly. The mechanism coming out for Ice 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 in a very short time frame. And, as we mentioned, Terrorblade, he benefits the most from this passivity, from this time frame where he can just build up towards that big item. I mean, obviously Tinker is getting some farm as well, but they want to fight now. They really want to make use of their ultimates while they have them.
Oh, the other thing the Basti is good for is you're up against Elder Titan, so forgot to mention.
Oh, yeah, fair.
Plus armor will be nice. As IG make an aggressive foray, but unfortunately their Centaur's been thrown up in the air, and he's getting silenced as well to follow this up. He'll manage to... Oh, actually the silence must have missed, but he'll manage to stampede his way out. Still ends up going down. And now IG start to spam their march, keeping Vici Gaming trapped behind this tower as the Spirit hunts them. They do have the Spirit-Tinker interaction, as FY is forced to TP out. You can TP to the Astral Spirit, and it also will amplify his magic damage. So that is one thing he's got going his way. Will he be able to TP in? Yeah, 430 will. Just in the nick of time as the Spirit hunts behind the tower. Searching for Black, and Ice 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 rockets will come through, hitting the illusion and then hitting Black's main hero, and 430 is doing
If he had a blink, that would be a double kill right there.
The zoning power they have is ridiculous. Like, with the Spirit and the March, Vici Gaming almost just have to go for trades. Like, they just, once the March starts going down, I don't know if they can get in position to defend these towers anymore.
Yeah, I mean, the mecha will certainly help. SSI's picking that up will allow them to sustain a little bit better, but they definitely need more in terms of general durability, so... We'll see what they can come up with, but for now, prolonged fights is their biggest limitation. Like, generally speaking, you look at a Death Prophet and you say, the longer she's up, the more she's accomplishing, but right now, IG can do so much damage over the course of, like, multiple uses of the Astral Spirit. This 0440 build really working for Luo.
430. He's spotted out. This is going to delay his Blink Dagger. Yule's up in the air, and he's 300 gold short. A costly time to go down. His concussive shot crashes in. He tries to make us retreat. Maybe with the Stampede, it's enough to get him out safely. The debuff will end. The rocket's thrown out. Super did not have Exorcism, so really nothing else he could have done. Well, that's Stampede, man. Saving lives and preserving 430's blink timing. Very important.
Yeah. In this position, FY is just barely having enough mana to cast his ultimate. He actually gets a bottle sip from Super to help him out. 2 bottle sips. They really want to make use of this ultimate, but they have to combo it perfectly with the Yules or with the Fisher. It is like, I think, a 10% less DPS time as it is extended over 2.2 seconds instead of 2.0. But, yeah, it's just... The thing that they haven't really made use of so far this game is the Skywrath Mage in general. Like, he has 1 kill, 3 assists, but it's not really been on his shoulders to accomplish that. It's just been the fights back and forth. He's been participating, but he hasn't been really redefining these engagements.
Well, he does have mana now, and we'll see Tron move towards mid. Hex is online, only level 1. He's got the Max Impale, though, and even that level 1 Hex online especially is still pretty good. 2.5 seconds. Vici Gaming will move towards top now, though. Super and Fenrir hanging out in the jungle for this time. There's no real stacks to clear, so it's not huge economic damage done, but IG in the meanwhile are waiting on the hill, and now they're going to smoke. Chizbug will be in front. I imagine we'll see this arrangement change a bit, but they're letting him lead the way for now, as the Elder Titan Spirit will come back. Looks like they managed to stack one of their camps on the way. Well, Black holds the line bottom lane. He has gone for Relic. Radiance will be coming soon. And Vici Gaming just kind of playing this defensive style, just a little bit nervous to take fights. I think they saw the amount of damage put out in that earlier top lane. And they might find FY now. Chizbug is onto him. The ward's there. Stampede will follow this up. There'll be a defensive fissure from Fenrir. And that will end the push for forward. As the rockets come through, they do a lot. Chain Frost, not enough. Do they continue chasing him out? They do. Another blink in. And a Finger of Death. That's going to secure the kill. Nicely done. They'll bring down those 2 supports. Now they look for a bit more as Chuan and Luo retreat out together.
I don't think that's worth it, honestly. The Chain Frost cooldown is so large, and the Finger of Death at this rank as well, that getting the kill on the Earthshaker doesn't mean all that much. We'll see if they regret not having it at any point in time soon, but I don't know. That's just not the highest value kill, and now Luo's going to get Yules.
They did bait out the Exorcism, though, so if they don't get a kill with this, then maybe that makes up for it.
Okay.
That is a 135-second cooldown. Although, it also lasts a while, so it ends up being like 100 seconds you don't have it, I guess. But, yeah, they won't have that for this push, so if they go in now, it's just with the mech and auto attacks, and I'm honestly not sure if Vici Gaming can push in at this stage, Blaze. Like, not directly into March and Astral. That is such a potent duo.
If they really wanted to push, they'd be looking at the bottom tier 1. That's probably the highest value tower right now in terms of Roshan and general map control. But what they're trying to do is actually draw IG to the top lane away from Black's farming route so that he can just take over the jungle with his illusions, farm the lane, and get to that Radiance, which he's only about 400 gold off. So really, it's not just the push that they're really looking for, it's the distraction and it's the occupancy of IG and the resources.
Well, one of IG's resources is getting aggressive now. June's well onto their side of the map. He's hunting for a pickoff here. Not sure. He doesn't have the burst to solo kill Black, and then you've got to worry about the turn from Sunder, which now has an improved cast point in this patch as well. But for now, June is just lurking. Could bring the Tinker in, potentially, if there's a creep wave nearby. And it seems 430, well, the question's been answered. They're still going to go for the Dagon on him, and it is still strong. I mean, I think the biggest weakness for Tinker has to be the fact by far, or the biggest nerf, that he can't farm the Ancients anymore. But with that, now that he's kind of past that stage of the game, the Dagon's still going to be strong. It'll be amplified a lot by the Elder Titan Natural Order, and 430 is still going to be a big threat as this goes towards the late game. It seems we might have some very farm-oriented Dota, but I'm not sure that Vici have the edge against Elder Titan. Just such a powerful... I guess you'd call him anti-carry more than anything.
Yeah, he definitely enhances his team's potential so that no matter what you get, as far as item progression, it's not going to matter enough. It specifically hurts the Terrorblade because obviously he has so much base armor and a huge amount of agility gains. So he's probably going to look for, if he doesn't go for all Vlad's, then at least maybe considering an AC on his team, probably in the Death Prophet more than anybody else. But yeah, it definitely makes it difficult for him to make his impact known.
Oh, this has been spotted out, but Super's there to reveal it. Unfortunately, Fenrir still gets caught out, impaled as well. Chuan silenced, though, so he can't get off his Finger of Death. It won't be needed. Now 430 try to TP in, but the Spirit disappears at the wrong time. They still get the kill there. The Finger of Death securing it as the Silence End. Looking for another stomp. Super will casually toss back a Yules and then turns, killing off one. Looking for more. Luo in trouble. Dropping low to Super. Will end up falling. Meanwhile, a Chain Frost bounces to Black, but does very little. There's a potential here for 430 to go back in on him. And that was with Terrorblade kind of being zoned off the fight for a lot of it, but a big win there in the end for Vici Gaming.
Yeah, another big aspect of that was that Enigma had to essentially choose between Black Hole and Mechanism. It's 225 on Mech now, and they increased the mana cost on Black Hole as well. So he just doesn't have the mana, even with Soul Ring, to do both without perfect usage of the Intelligence Treads. So difficult for Ice in that situation. He did go down as a result, I believe, but yeah, still they take a great fight. They're still in home turf. They're still able to react, and they're able to bring all their heroes into the fray. Like, even though, like you said, Terrorblade was zoned out, he was still involved. He was still a target they had to focus or push back, and they committed abilities to him. So still making his impact known, and it'll be more so as this Radiance really starts to take effect.
And a Bloodstone now for Super with the new recipe, for those who haven't heard. I made this mistake the other way. But yeah, it does involve a Soul Ring and a recipe now, and instead of the Perseverance. So I think it's a little bit cheaper. I think it's 100 or 150 gold or something. But yeah, still a nice pickup for him. And it also really suggests that Vici Gaming are not in any rush to try and win this game. The Radiance of the Terrorblade, now the Bloodstone on your Death Prophet. These are items that will be ultimately angling towards later on. When you get more Bloodstone charges, when the Radiance is kind of paid for itself with the additional farm it provides. Is going late the right answer? I guess we'll find out. I still think IG's lineup is very easy to underrate in that regard.
Yeah, but if they pick up a pipe to nullify a lot of the magic damage, then they still should be able to keep multiple heroes alive. TB,
and they are actually building one right now. Nice.
Cool. That's really, really important for them to have it. Obviously, the mana cost still has to be considered, but it's very valuable in this game in particular. Not just for the obvious barrier active, but also the passive magic resistance that will make it so that he can't be burst down. But yeah, as far as late game, when you get like Scotty, maybe Satanic on this Terrorblade and it gets really tanky, I actually don't have much against that other than the perma hex. And right now, obviously, Ferrari has gone at least one level in Dagon before considering that alternative. But when you look at just IG's item progression, look at their boots in particular. 4 Tranquil boots, 3 Blink daggers. They want to be active, they want to be mobile, and they just want to get in for easy, quick kills. They're in skirmish mode right now, and they're not really focused on farming. So with all of this invested in Ferrari, I think Vici are comfortable enough with their potential to lock him down and subsequently take the late game.
Yeah, it seems both teams have their own ideas and confidence in them about who has that late game edge. I mean, if they're looking for a gank bottom, then they're definitely wasting their time here, because Vici are not coming to that lane. It was a kind of pretty extended period where they weren't doing a whole lot. While Super will push in the top lane, the Dagon begins to be leveled up. And we'll just have to see if they find those pickoffs. For now, Super is saving Exorcism. I think Vici Gaming are going to try and force a tier 3 here after the glyph. We'll see. For now, the glyph popped. It will end, and the rotation commences from Luo. He comes to defend while continuing to push bottom lane is June and Chizbug, but it's a very slow push at that Blaze.
Really
Stomp to slow it down further, but they're still saving that Exorcism. If they don't go high ground, they may just rotate mid and go for a tier 2 there as well.
Yeah,
and this push bottom is still not done.
No, they're so slow at taking these towers that I think actually they might be able to force them back. One Midnight Pulse and... yeah, they're not going to be able to take this tier 2. It's just a overall win for Vici Gaming, nothing lost. And yeah, they're going to just build up that pipe extremely fast on the back of that gold. And there's no way that IG feel comfortable in the Roche pit now. Like, when you consider the objectives that were so valuable in 6.81, taking towers, taking Roche, it's just not an option for them with this current state of affairs. All the ulti is up for Vici, these big items coming out. They're tapering.
Well, and for now, I think the biggest issue is just... even if they get those picks, they don't take towers quickly. We saw that already bottom, so for IG to win this one, they're going to have to win a bunch of fights in succession and really smack the Death Prophet and Terribly down. Whereas Vici win one fight, they're probably taking 2-3 towers. They go bottom lane. Onto June, they force out the Stampede, Concussive Shot will follow him, but he actually turns around for a second, almost like he wants to go back in. Though he won't choose to do so in the end. And meanwhile, Black is... kind of playing the one role if this is a 4 protect 1 with the Death Prophet semi-death balling, and how fitting. Yeah, sending his illusions off to the push the mid lane. Now he's farming his own jungle. Not really groupy with his team too much. Up to 2,900 gold and more items now coming out. We're gonna see a buckler. What is? Sorry, that's Black's Robe of the Magi. Okay, so Black's gonna complete his drums, I believe. We're gonna see FY now working towards. I think he's building that damage block item. The Crimson Guard.
Crimson Guard? Okay.
Building a buckler.
Yeah, I can see value in that. They obviously already have the mech, so they... Crimson Guard coming out on
It's a nice value pickup against Elder Titan, I think, more than anything.
Okay.
If the mech's not around, at least.
Yeah, I mean, you get the +5 armor. I don't think there's an armor aura involved in the active, but still the block is substantial. I mean, it's not like IG have hard right clickers, right? Like, they aren't hitting above 100 on pretty much any hero unless Elder Titan has that massive Astral Spirit buff. So, in that position, yeah, you get the decent, it's like a kind of minimalistic passive block, but when you activate it, even on a ranged hero, you really get a lot of benefit there. The +50, 100%. And yeah, it's a good way to stay alive throughout the fights.
And it does stack with mech, you're saying? Fully?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing about it that wouldn't.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's a lot of plus armor, and it's kind of a nice way. I mentioned like Vlad's would be a little odd on these supports, but this is another cost-effective armor item they can pick up. We'll head towards the bottom lane now, and I suppose he could complete the Crimson Guard later if he wanted to. Though Vanguard feels a little odd. They'll look for super bottom lane. He does have his Yule Scepter ready to go, but no chance in hell he's getting that off. Not with this kind of a beatdown from IG. Nicely played. Still, there is Black pushing at the top lane, and my only question for IG is, do they take towers after these kills? Because that has been the issue for them thus far.
A lot of gold actually going to the Lion after killing off that Death Prophet there. Obviously getting the last hit. That was a dominating streak. So he jumps up 740 gold. And although that's only an Urn of Shadows, that gold, just any progression at all, is going to be huge for IG because they cannot lose momentum at this stage in the game. They don't have easy objectives to take to just get gold across the team. So they need to look for the high value kills. And that's the Death Prophet, that's the Terrorblade. So keeping their focus there is going to be of the utmost importance. Black does have a BKB in the works, but while he doesn't have it, he's still quite vulnerable. If they can just find the originator, if they just keep on jumping illusions, they're going to have problems. But if they find the real black and are able to knock him down, then that's going to be what puts IG back in the game. Because right now they have been falling short as far as general progression. The goal graphs obviously are in favor of Vici and will remain that way unless something happens.
Oh, they've managed to get a jump in here on FY. He's way too far out as the Scarab Mage. And that will be a kill going to 430. Of all the heroes to give a kill to, probably the one you don't want to. And 430 with that is... He's nearing completion on the Dagon 5. He's already got Dagon 4 gold if he wants to go it. And at that point, just an Ethereal Blade, assuming that's the continued progression for him. Already kind of gets the equivalent of the Ethereal Blade from that Astral Spirit, but hey, even more damage never hurts.
Yeah, at this point you might even consider putting a Veil on one of these heroes. It's got to be difficult to kind of coordinate that, but if you get like a Finger of Death, Ethereal Blade, Dagon on heroes that are enhanced by Veil or enhanced by the Natural Order, then they're just going to be dropping left and right. And obviously, that's going to be the best way for IG to take these 5-on-5s is just turning them into instant 5v3s.
And the other thing that is, this Tinker with this amount of farm, he's gone back for Ghost Scepter, so he may just complete his E-Blade now, but it's at the point where like he could just taser these illusions and they just die instantly. So with between that and the laser, until Black gets something like along the lines of a Heart or a Scotty, Tinker can clear out the illusions. Lion's pretty good at it as well. I may have the gold for like a Ghost Scepter so they can't auto-attack him soon. And they may have the solutions for these. Not to mention a Hex later on for the Tinker if he farms it. And it looks like it's either a Force Staff or maybe another Dagon for low. I have seen Ice 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 build Dagon before on Elder Titan.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm wondering if that's really the level of commitment they wanted to damage. We'll find out. Tron about to jump in bottom lane? No, not with the Ghost still out.
Yeah, we haven't really seen much of this Elder Titan other than the Spirit. Like, the Stomps, the Earth Splitters are obviously an option, but we just really haven't seen the impact there. But he's actually going the Ags. Luo is going for the Aghanim Scepter on the Elder Titan, the Disarm, up against the
shit, I forgot about that upgrade. Oh my goodness.
I wasn't sure if they would actually find it valuable enough, but it is a very long duration. I think
so
it's like
basically anyone caught in Earth Splitter gets
seconds.
Disarmed for like 4 or 5 seconds. We can look up the exact time in a sec. But they've jumped in on Super now. They got off the Stomp really quickly. Mystic Flare trying to zone and discourage that Lich from further pursuit, but 430 finds the opening on the sideline. Insta picks one off. Then the dunk on the Cheesebug. There will be quick revenge here as the supports also die on the side of IG, and in the end, they'll lose June as well. He gets trapped in, not really going much of anywhere. I hear Tinker killing stuff, but just waiting to make sure June will die. He will fall in the end. 430 able to make his way out. Black takes in a lot of damage from that Earth Splitter, but Mech and Pipe back up, so it's a 3-for-1 exchange in the end. They don't lose, I would say they're most of 2 important heroes at this stage, but... okay, yeah, so... Ags on Elder Titan.
6 is level 16. Right now it's going to be 5-second duration. With the Aghanims at level 16, it will be a 6-second disarmament. One thing I tested about this a couple days back in the test client was if you have your BKB active, you will still be disarmed and slowed. But if you save your BKB until the disarm hits, you can BKB to take it off.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
So it's kind of like Halberd, except it can go through BKB. Is the main difference.
Yeah, I would look at it more like an entangle kind of thing, like where you'd wow.
Big plays from 430. Ice 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 does come in. He's got Black Hole mana if he Soul Rings, I believe, but man, 430 just gave him the Zapperino. That was some confident play there, blinking in. I'm not even sure if he realized that actually he has a ward, but I'm not sure if he saw the Enigma move up into the lane. Either way, 430 gives no fucks.
Yeah, that was absolutely legit, and he's looking to also contest the high ground if necessary. He's ready to just jump in and get those blasts as necessary. Just really tailored this level of Dagon to exactly what he needs to be able to combo a certain level of HP hero. So that pipe is of the utmost importance now for Vici, timing it well and making sure that stuff like that doesn't continue to happen, because otherwise the burst is just going to be too legit. It is, after all, like I said, Terrorblade's weakness in this situation, but... no roast just yet. They still don't feel confident, and they're just going to control the enemy jungle, at least for the moment. E-Blade coming out for the Tinker now.
Yeah, E-Blade's out. Soon the Elder Titan will pick up his Aghanim Scepter, and, well, maybe not if he dies here to Super. BKB will be popped by Super. He's chasing after Chuan, so if this is all he gets, then he's used his ultimate just to kill off the support Lion. And it seems... Oh, no, he's got the gem, too. Okay, that's a pretty big swing for Vici Gaming. Getting that gem, and we'll have some ability to take the map back over now.
Yeah, so still 200 gold off. Elder Titan will be able to find this, but there's the two major aspects of it. Whether or not Black knows the BKB timing against the Earth Splitter, and also if it lands in the first place. Like, they don't have anything that guarantees that they'll stand throughout the full duration other than the Echo Stomp itself. So we'll see if he can actually connect it on the heroes he wants when it counts. But it does have a lot of potential.
They've seen him coming in here, but the Crypt Swarm missed, so he's able to blink out. If he doesn't connect on that, or if he does connect on that Crypt Swarm, then June probably dies. But instead, he'll survive through it. And yeah, I mean, Tinker's... This is, like you said, all you need is a Veil. I'm almost thinking his Dagon can even one-shot. Like, how much damage does that do if you have the Veil, the Elder Titan, and the Dagon?
Man,
like, that's gotta be well into the thousands, if not even more. Fissure will come out now, keeping June off the fight, but actually also protecting him, and zap #1! 430's just getting started here, folks. He'll look for more as the Chain Frost bounces to Fenrir, then back again. They blink forward on him. 430 having free reign in this fight. Ice will manage to TP out. It looks like just barely escaping. 3 heroes fall. Man, the Zapparinos. And the Death Prophet committed suicide, by the way, so they didn't get that.
Even still, it's a massive gold swing, a net gain of 2,300, it looks like. Just insane movement for IG, and that's essentially it. Is if Vici Gaming can turn it into an actual fight, then they're going to win it. But in this case, IG are not looking for a fight. They're looking for a massacre. They just want to blow them apart, make it so it's not even a contest, and then they'll look to take objectives after that.
I'm just gonna laugh so hard if Tinker's actually still legit after this, after all the, what seemed like big nerfs to him. He does get a little more imp from the Dagon, so I suppose that could be considered a buff potentially, but it's also more expensive at the higher levels to use. But so far, it seems like IG have weathered the storm, and maybe Vici Gaming just underestimated how quickly 430 could ramp up his farm in the mid game and how much damage output he would have. At the same time, though, they do have these BKBs, and with the pipe online, I'm almost thinking, Blaze, like, you know that March no longer will hit BKB targets. And you've got a pipe. Do you just deathball at mid?
There's definite validity in that. I mean, obviously the creep waves will still be, you'll have to pipe them up, but in general, yeah, I mean, you can accomplish that. I think they're much more in a defensive posture where they just want a lot of HP on Terrorblade. They want to get him to like a 25,000 net worth before they have to close the game out. But the longer they wait and spread the map, the more opportunities IG have to pick. So it might be better just to 5-man together. But it really just comes down to IG's movements and if they can predict them. If they can just see IG coming and avoid those confrontations, it's better to farm. But it's kind of an ideal world when you can imagine your team's not going to get picked off.
For now, the Spirit is scouting. It runs through FY. Not sure if he's paying attention to that. But now will earn himself up, and they find the Lich. Well, this Lich is probably in trouble. Got off the Exorcism in time. That's Q to stampede the hell away. Everybody on the way out. As June actually goes into this fight, I'm not sure he wants to be here. Meanwhile, on the southern end of the engagement, 430 and Lou are just biding their time. I don't think they want to engage with this. Maybe they're looking for a pickoff. Yeah, they throw out the Spirit onto FY. He's probably done. Yep, zap #1. 430's just heating up. Fissure will find him after the blink, though. He's going to have to rearm quickly and blink out again. Can he do it? Oh, not the best blink of his life. Another zap on the Fenrir. Still gets the kill. And Super was slapped by the Elder Titan Stomp, so he can't chase 430. And right now, the Exorcism ends. He gets thrown up in the air as 430 tries to retreat out, but they might lose their Taker. He'll buy his final Dagon recipe. That's your Dagon 5 in the piggy bank. But Luo will get finished off as well. Without the Taker, there's just no chance for IG. They'll lose 4 for 3 here, and they might lose their 5th. Chuan, blink cooling down. We'll blink out to the southern side of the ramp and retreat out in the end. But yeah, that's a fight recap worth seeing. And gold change? Huh? Really? 1382 and 423? Oh, that's how much each team gained. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So very even fight, I guess. Experience gain was substantial for both teams, though.
Yeah, bringing on the Tinker is still really huge there. I mean, thing to consider is although Tinker's at the top of net worth, his team is behind in that department. So those two stats work against each other as far as the amount of bounty you get from the kill. So in the end, he's still a very high value target specifically, but in general, IG is getting more out of each individual kill. So yeah, it's still pretty even back and forth between the two sides, but yeah, turning that into a real fight with Vici moving in, that's definitely what they were looking for. It's just a slugfest at this point.
The other thing is, their BKBs are still healthy. I just checked them. They've got a 10-second BKB just picked up by Ice Ice Ice. I believe it's an 7-second on the Death Prophet, 8-second on Black's Terrorblade. So there's room here for Vici to just try and bull rush.
Yeah. There was a mistake made in the last one, too. When the Yule's initiation came out on the Lich, June, again, stampeded before he was out of the Scepter, and the effect
Oh, no, they baited out the jump in from June. He might have to stampede to get out of this. He'll have to BKB and stampede, so he can't be Yule's. But then he runs in and out, and those precious BKB charges ticking down. Stomp will come through, but the rocket hits Black, which removes the Stomp. Otherwise, 430 might have even gone for a taser attempt. He throws out another set of rockets, this time hitting Fenrir, and retreats backwards through the tree line as Ice 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 looks to clear them out with Midnight Pulse, just to prevent that pesky Tinker from having the hidden trees to work with. The other thing that we might see if there is a lot of Tinker play is maybe that nutrient protector with the eyes on the trees. I guess there are still some other potential solutions to the hero, but for this game, he is doing a lot of work, even though it is looking a bit better for Vici after that fight. And they'll go into the Roach Pit with Exorcism now. The Elder Titan does have his Earth Splitter. For now, we'll lead with the Stomp, but didn't actually connect on anyone important, it looks like. And Vici Gaming, they bring Roach down to about half HP, but Exorcism will end soon. It might almost be in the range where... Well, actually, IG have, like, no physical damage. Never mind. They can't really take this.
I think with the new terrain, a Radiant Elder Titan is so much more powerful than a Dire one, because if you actually look at the trajectory, going in from your side of the map, you can get a straight line straight into the pit with the Earth Splitter. Anytime they try to disengage from Roche, they're going to get hit by that spell.
They're not disengaging. They're engaging right now. Charge, says June. Stampede's in. They'll insta-give FY, but Chuan gets caught in the black hole. June's here as well. Where's that Earth Splitter? He can't use it. He's silenced. Oh, I think FY might have been the one to do it even. Couldn't get it off as a result of Stomp. The Earth Splitter's there. 430 pursued through the trees. And now in trouble. Yule's up. He won't be able to blink out. He's going to have to make some fancy footwork happen. Gets the double kill, but still costs him his life. A 3-for-3 exchange. Black hole was used. Man, I think it was FY who silenced Luo. I'm not sure. Maybe the Death Prophet. But if he didn't get silenced there, that would have been so bad for Vici. Almost an instant Earth Splitter cancel. Would have hit like 4 heroes and potentially just gotten them a wipe.
The recap is not showing a Mystic Flare used, so it must have been the Death Prophets, and Ice 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 actually at a bit of a rough spot. Luckily, Black is pretty much all the reinforcements this RBD. Ice 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 will be able to waltz on out of here. Now, the Earthshaker actually dropped down really, really quickly when Ice dropped the Black Hole, because he actually popped the Black Hole before and still had Pipe available. Pipe's instant, so it wasn't a time factor, but he might have been concerned about his mana pool and whether or not he could support it. So he ends up piping after the Black Hole, and the focus wasn't on surviving. It was getting the big disable, which is great. But then, of course, Ferrari outside of it just blasts the Earthshaker to pieces. So didn't get the chain stun that they were looking for, the follow-up there. Still a nice fight overall for Vici Gaming as they continue to accrue this gold lead and hold the experience lead, at least for the moment.
It's
back in the pit.
Only 41 minutes in, but it's starting to feel like a pretty epic late-game potential here. That lead is significant for Vici, but by no means overwhelming. Spawn will jump in. They look for the initiation. Actually, the pit at the same time. June, Blink Stop was dodged by the BKB of Super. And this is pretty much going to be a free rush at this point. Just they can't really walk into the pit anymore and fight it. They may try for a 430 Blink Steal. Is he going to go for it? Nope. No vision. The Spirit came in a bit too late, I believe. And now Shivas, they've caught out Cheesebug. The Angels did go the way of Black on the Terrorblade, so have 2 lives to work with. And now they try to finish off June, but he 4-steps out of the Mystic Flare, while his own illusion works against him, just slowly smacking him down. Black is really bullying IG in this one, and Black continues pursuit. The tree's now cleared out by Ice Ice Ice, gets off the Malefice. No BKB for June, getting run over. The fight is not over, Volvo. Please, no fight recap just yet. Now they can push in mid. They've got the Terrorblade's ultimate, or Metamorphosis. Might as well be his ultimate. Alright, another recap.
Now, Black used his BKB for essentially nothing there, so it's really good that he had the Aegis as the extra presence as a second life. But in 10 seconds time, it won't matter. He'll still have the 6-second BKB charge, and he'll look to use it. Earth Splitter is going to be on cooldown for this fight.
Oh,
but,
Chuan! The slam dunk on FY! Get wrecked, fool, he says, but the trade will be there. They lose their Taker. Probably, almost certainly the bigger kill. They'll also lose their first lane of Raxus. Vici Gaming just overwhelm IG inside their base. The Tinker bought back as well. He's not going to have another life for 90 seconds. This might just be GG. Vici Gaming could probably end it here. There's an O-Glyph available. IG really pressed for options. Even that Earth Splitter on cooldown for 30 seconds. Vici looking at 2 lanes of Rax, maybe even a third in game 1 of this best of 3. It's been a real 6.82 showcase, man. This is the exciting stuff we're looking for. Blink on Stomp onto Black. Chain Frost will follow this through. He's got a second life, though. He's also got his ultimate. Can he get it off? He does! He does! Oh, it's all over now for IG. There's just no hope. There's no hope. They can go bottom. They can probably take a third lane of Rex. If they really want to be safe, they could back. But they still have this Aegis. Death Prophet Exorcism is cooled down, and Taker is still dead for 40 seconds. I'm actually not sure if Vici Gaming realized that he doesn't have buyback and that he used it in the last fight, but I would think they would go for that third lane of Rex if they did know. I guess they decide not to and ultra slow roll it instead. Oh, there's a tier 2 tower, actually, sorry. So they can't take the Rex, but they could push the tier 2.
So
Getting a little excited here.
Definitely. Well, I mean, when you see a fight like that, followed up by 2 lanes of Rax, you just got to be pumped for Vici Gaming's win potential here. They've been actually in control of the game for a long period of time. If you look at the gold and experience graph, there have been some fights that favor IG, but it's not enough to tip the scales in their favor. And when it comes down to it, they are still very hard countered by BKBs. So using each charge for what it's worth, Black's able to survive through the fights. Ice has been able to do miraculously with it. And yeah, in general, they've just been moving into this just dominant fashion. Now we do see the push down on bottom lane, and this is going to be the one that IG have to make something huge happen with. It has to be like a 4-man Earth Splitter after BKBs. Otherwise, I just don't see them pulling it back.
Even if they win that fight, if they don't also kill Black and the Death Prophet in that, if even one of them live, they might just go in for the throne and take out a tier 4 or 2 regardless. And should IG win this fight, they're not really pushing quickly, so they'll have to win quite a few, not just the one. Let's see. Vici Gaming will push in the tier 2. They'll play this one safe, knowing that it is an elimination match. Winner moves on to the grand finals where the old boys are waiting. They had the easier side of the bracket. And this, honestly, could end up being the best match of the tournament. These two teams are looking fierce. Black will push in. Heart now picked up on your Death Prophet. The beef is just overpowering at this point. 3,400 HP, 24 armor, even with the Elder Titan Astral Spirit. A lot of that won't be removed. These heroes are gigantic. And then you look at poor FY. He's got 960.
Dude, he just wants that Crimson Guard so much.
He needs the Vitality Booster, man. That's what he really needs. He should I almost want to say he should just sell the Magic Wand or something to get it. Just to have that extra HP. But either way, Vici Gaming continue their siege.
At this point, you're 46 minutes into the game. I don't know if 50 block is going to really do anything for you at all, but, you know, he wants to finish what he started. That is a pretty big recipe cost, so, yeah, I don't blame him if he just goes through with it, but I don't really feel like we felt like the FY God in this one. We haven't really seen the impact of the Skywrath. 3 kills, 10 assists. It's been not bad, but overshadowed entirely by the rest of Vici Gaming.
That's pretty scary. For as much as FY has done over the past month, and obviously he's still the drafter and making a lot of the in-game calls, so he has a lot of involvement beyond his individual play. If he can have an off-game and they still wreck face like this, yeah, that's a scary team. By the way, these Ring of Aquillas are really just bothering me lately. For some reason, people just don't sell them. And now FY is getting annoyed by it too. His OCD is ticking. This is the second day in a row where this has happened. Get that 400 gold, man. They're gonna go top lane now. Uh-oh. June could get caught out here. He'll blink out just barely in the nick of time. But they'll go for a split push style. They'll send 4 heroes towards the northern side. They'll leave the Elder Titan Park bottom lane, and they just slow siege it. Even just a couple auto attacks from those ranged illusions. Just maul the tower, and they're not even dying. Meanwhile, mid. Supercharges in. He's found the Taker. He's gonna throw everything at 430, but he has a BKB and Stampede, which will allow him to get out safely. As meanwhile, Your Centaur comes in, still looking for that real engagement from IG. They might just go for the throw, knowing Stampede's down. They're kind of thinking about it, but they're also just using Super as a distraction. He focuses on tier 4s. This means no R-Splitter hitting both cores no matter what. Chizbug forced back, and Vici Gaming now force out the Glyph. They do go on Super, and they will manage to kill him off. Didn't get off his Bloodstone Deny either, but the tier 3 falls bottom. And Super will respawn in 40 seconds. Zap number 2, they lose their gem. IG heating up, but it's really going to take a lot more than this. I mean, Blaze, there's still a tier 1 mid, a tier friggin' 1 top, and a tier 2 bottom. They are going to have to win way more fights in a row to turn this one around.
Yeah.
And they don't push. They don't push either.
Still, the gold's not too shabby. I mean, 1,500 on the Centaur and the Tinker. They're definitely building up. Finally, F5 finishes his Crimson Guard.
Sell the friggin' Aquila, Black! F5 screams at him.
That's it with his teammate that narrated.
There we go.
But, yeah. The one big thing is Ice finally has a Blink Dagger. He's actually been engaging in all these various fights with just the mech, BKB, and Pipe. It's only now that he finally picks up the Blink, and this is how you catch out somebody that's stampeded, is you blink past them and you get the black hole right where they're running. So there's a lot of value in this pickup, even though obviously the Earth Splitter does interrupt channels if it connects after the BKB. And also the Chain Frost, of course, can interrupt it. But we've seen, even with just the most basic black holes, that Vici Gaming are already dominant. So if Ice can blink in and grab multiple heroes, that might just be the game breaker.
Now Vici Gaming will group up bottom once again. They're sending Super towards the mid lane. No buyback on him once more. No buyback on your Terrorblade. But I think it just shows that how far ahead Vici Gaming feel they are, and just the state of the game where they can probably... there's still that slight rubber band effect with the new patch, but it's been reduced significantly. They'll jump in mid on Super though, but the black hole is waiting for this. Caught all 3. Ice will turn this one, baby, in a big, big way. But maybe it's not enough. Well, meanwhile, Black's working on the racks. He'll secure the Megas while the rest of the team just stalls, and still the Death Prophet lives. Mega creeps online. Terrorblade up in your grill. This is probably the end for IG. Tinker's still alive. Luo won't even be able to TP out. And that'll be it. GG, well played. Game 1 was a doozy, but IG will fall short here. The Tinker, Elder Titan, it had its day, but Vici Gaming say, it is a new day, sir. It is a day of Terrorblade, and Terror reigns supreme in the Dire base.
Awesome game for both sides. Vici obviously knew their strengths. They timed their movements well, and they only pushed when they either felt they needed to create space for Black, or when he was farmed enough that they had that opportunity. And the pickoffs were really cool to see from IG. Obviously, seeing lasers fly about is always entertaining, but it just wasn't enough in the end. Tinker was the only hero you could consider a carry, and ET just wasn't enough to enhance him to a full carry state against multiple BKBs. So Vici Gaming, they really find the trump card and are able to hammer it down in Game 1. We'll have to see how Game 2 plays out.
With that said, Game 2 coming up next, guys. This is a best of 3. Stick around. You're watching Beyond the Summits coverage of iLeague. I'm LD, he's Blaze, and we'll be right back.